I mean, Ilia's face is just destroyed.
We literally had him get out of the octagon before the hand was even raised and sent him to the hospital. Yeah, Ilia's in the hospital. He's busted up. You know, I'm not a doctor, but his eye looked like he probably has broken orbital.
I always tell people that losing is not the end. Losing is a lesson. Tonight I learned a very hard lesson.
I don't think Ilia Topuria ever comes back the same. His whole mindset, his whole like ego, know what I mean? Like his is like, I'm undefeated, no one can beat me. Having celebrations the night before the fight. I just...
More significantly was the eye damage. Both of his eyes were swollen shut. His nose was fucked up. He'd taken so many punches to the face, and it looked like perhaps orbital damage, like maybe he had a fractured orbital, because his whole thing had just swollen.
Despite entering the biggest fight of his career as a more than 6-1 underdog, and despite being written off by almost everyone watching around the world, Justin Gaethje did the unthinkable, brutally stopping Ilia Topuria to capture the lightweight title on the South Lawn of the White House. The man who had never lost a single professional fight, who had knocked out 3 legends back-to-back. That man left the cage in pieces, 2 broken eye sockets, and then Dana White made an announcement that changed the entire conversation. This is everything that happened. Let's get into it.
Through Ilia, was he as good as you thought he was? Was he better than you thought he was? Just can you talk about what you experienced in there with him?
I mean, he's very good. I mean, my liver still hurts right now. Those body shots were crazy. I mean, he was really, really fast, but you know, when he didn't get the finish at the end of the second round, I think it really took his spirit.
Justin Gaethje made one thing clear after the fight. Ilia Topuria was every bit as dangerous as everyone believed. The body shots were brutal, and Gaethje admitted his liver was still hurting. But when Topuria couldn't get the finish in round 2, the momentum shifted. And from that moment, everything started changing.
You know, fight of the year, fight of the whatever, it's one of the greatest fights you'll ever see. It was incredible. And especially when you got a guy, I don't know where it ended up, but 6, 7, 8-1 underdog, and then comes in and does what he did tonight. And then Ilia, I mean, the body shots that Ilia hit Gaethje with in that round, and then Gaethje gets through it. Gaethje's about to get into, you know, an arm bar. He almost got into a triangle. I mean, just you saw everything in that fight.
Dana White didn't just call it fight of the night. He called it one of the greatest fights you'll ever see. A massive underdog survived brutal body shots, submission threats, and relentless pressure to defeat an undefeated champion. And before we talk about the injuries, it's important to remember one thing. This wasn't a fight. It was...
Yeah, Ilia's in the hospital. He's busted up. You know, I'm not a doctor, but his eye looked like he probably has broken orbital. I don't know that's not a fact, but I'm just assuming. And my plans for him are to go home and rest and recover and take his time. And you know, tonight was a rough night for him. I just want to make sure he's healthy and good, and not even thinking about him fighting again. Just want him to go home and relax and rest and heal.
Then came the update that instantly changed the conversation. Dana White revealed that Ilia Topuria had been rushed to the hospital immediately after the fight. As he discussed the condition of Topuria's eye, concern replaced celebration. Dana even suggested there could be orbital damage, making it clear the injuries were far from routine. The damage was serious. But at that moment, nobody fully understood how much punishment Topuria had actually endured inside the cage.
The main event was the greatest fight of all time. It literally was the greatest fight of all time. Because the guy that won it, Justin Gaethje, was in many books 6-1 favorite, 6-1 underdog rather, which is crazy odds for a guy that was a interim lightweight champion, fought the best of the best, one of the best to ever do it, BMF champion. I mean, just super durable, real dangerous guy. And that's how good Ilia Topuria is. That's how good Ilia Topuria is. Ilia Topuria, in many people's eyes, is the most skilled of the new generation, and the new generation is the most skilled of all time. And Ilia was like the top of the mountain. And most people thought that he was going to be too much, and he was too much for a while. And he almost took Justin out in the second round. And then Justin rallied. And then Ilia, it looked like he got really damaged in either the first or the second round, and he was having real trouble seeing out of one of his eyes. And then Justin started landing bombs in the third round. Ilia had slowed down quite a bit. It looked like he had really tried to finish Justin in the second. And sometimes when you try to finish a guy, you just hit the gas way too much and you can't recover in between rounds. And Justin recovered, and Justin started battering Ilia in the third and fourth. And by the end of the fourth round, Ilia quit on his stool. He couldn't see out of either eye. He had gotten kneed into the body real bad when he was on the ground. Justin had him down with his two hands and just smashed a knee into his rib cage, and you could see him go like that. And that was the end of the round. And then he had to retire on his stool. And you think
he broke a rib?
That probably could have happened, but I think maybe more significantly was the eye damage. Both of his eyes were swollen shut. His nose was fucked up. He'd taken so many punches to the face, and it looked like perhaps orbital damage, like maybe he had a fractured orbital, because his whole thing had just swollen up on both sides. He was unrecognizable. And, the guy hung in there as long as he could. But when you can't see, you can't see. And when you're that battered, sometimes it's smart to stop. And he's a very smart guy, and I think he realized, I can't defend myself right now. I can't see.
Joe Rogan's breakdown revealed something far more alarming than the upset itself. While most fans focused on Justin Gaethje shocking the world, fighters saw a different story unfolding inside the cage. They saw the damage building minute by minute. Early in the fight, Ilia Topuria looked exactly like the unstoppable champion everyone expected: fast, precise, and dangerous. In the second round, he came incredibly close to finishing Gaethje with devastating body shots. But championship fights often turn on a single moment. One decision, one missed opportunity, one chance that slips away. Once Gaethje survived that storm, the momentum began shifting. Topuria started slowing down, while Gaethje grew stronger and more confident. At the same time, the damage around Topuria's eyes continued to worsen. By the third round, Gaethje was landing heavy shots consistently. By the fourth, Topuria was struggling to see. This wasn't fatigue. It was a fighter trying to survive while his vision was fading, making every second inside the octagon more dangerous than the last.
Sparring partners to try to drop you with body shots in the gym.
Yeah.
Is there any significance to that or any?
He would have made $1,000 off of me tonight if that was the case. Yeah, it still hurts right now. That hurts. My hand hurts. My jaw hurts. He is a formidable opponent. He was so good and so dangerous. And I never really I didn't see him quit. I saw them almost stop the round fight at the end of the third round, and I was like, no way. And then he's back out there and back to being dangerous. So, yeah, this is a crazy sport.
What's fascinating is that even after the biggest win of his career, Justin Gaethje didn't sound like a man who had dominated an easy fight. He admitted his hand hurt, his jaw hurt, and his body was feeling the effects of the war. More importantly, Gaethje said he never truly saw Topuria quit. Every time it seemed like the fight was slipping away, Topuria came back dangerous and aggressive, which raises an important question. If Topuria was still fighting that hard, how much damage did he absorb trying to win?
Know what I mean? Which, to be honest, that might have played a part in it. Know what I mean? The fact that I hate Ilia and the fact that Justin beat me and I like Justin, that might have played a part in the fact. But yeah, it's just Gaethje to get you into that dogfight, dragged you into it. Know what I mean? And Ilia's never had that. Ilia's never had to come back from adversity. Ilia's only ever been the hammer. He's never been the nail. I don't think Ilia Topuria ever comes back the same. His whole mantra, his whole ego, know what I mean? His is I'm undefeated, no one can beat me. Having celebrations the night before the fight. I just don't think he'll ever be the same. He's never had to come back from nothing like that. I've had to face adversity before. So nothing can prepare you for it. That's the thing. And that's why I don't think he'll ever come back the same. Nothing can prepare you for it. But we'll find out what sort of man he is if he does come back and when he does come back. Because, as I say, I've been there before. I've been beat. You know what I mean? And I've had to come back stronger every time, and I have done. He's never been beat. He's never had to do this before. He's gonna have to look at himself in the mirror and be like, "What? I've just got my head smashed in. I need to come back." And you never know, he mightn't have the cojones to do it.
One of the most interesting reactions came from Paddy Pimblett. Many expected him to simply enjoy seeing Topuria lose, but his analysis went much deeper. According to Paddy, the fight exposed something Topuria had never truly faced before: adversity. For years, he had been the hammer, the fighter controlling every moment and finishing opponents. Against Justin Gaethje, he became the nail, and that changes everything. Paddy believes the real challenge isn't the broken bones or the physical recovery, it's the mental side. For the first time in his career, Topuria knows he can be beaten. Some champions return stronger after that realization. Others never regain the same aura. And now the entire MMA world is waiting to see which path Topuria takes.
Doing health-wise, Dana?
He's doing good. He's doing good, you know. Tough kid, obviously. You know, after the first round, his eye was bothering him. You could see that he got hit. And at one point, he, like, started covering his eye like this and was kind of, you know, messing with it. And then, you know, Justin just kept busting.
Topuria is going to need time to recover mentally, emotionally, and physically. He's never lost before. This is gonna take something to overcome. One of the things that was Topuria's greatest weapons, greatest strengths, greatest traits, besides his overall ability and technically be sound, and you know, he was a full package. He really was. Talent-wise, technique, everything. But one of the things foremost that leads the way for all those things to mean something is he has supreme confidence.
That concern wasn't limited to Paddy Pimblett. Even Dana White suggested that Topuria's road back could be more difficult than many fans realize. Physical injuries eventually heal, cuts close, bones recover, and swelling fades. But the mental side is different. Topuria entered this fight with the confidence of an undefeated champion, a man who believed he could beat anyone in the world. That belief is a fighter's greatest weapon. It helps them stay calm, take risks, and perform under pressure. Now, for the first time in his career, Topuria faces unfamiliar questions about defeat, vulnerability, and whether he can rebuild himself and climb back to the top once again.
The three doctors and the ref, Ilia really wanted to continue. And then, and I actually think he probably won that round too.
Yeah,
that he went into.
Round
and
4?
Then his corner, I think, stopped the fight, and props to them. I would never say anything. Listen, if you're thinking about retiring and that's what you want to do, you know, it's probably what you should do. But on the flip side, you just beat an undefeated badass, you know, decisively. Finished him, and I don't know, it's just something that he needs to work out with you know, himself and his own mind, and with his family, obviously.
Yeah, if it is the way he goes out, it's an untoppable moment. What do you think? Should Michael hang it up? Should Chandler hang it up, or do you think he can still be competitive in there?
I don't know. Listen, the guy that Michael fought is just so good. Jeez. And that's the thing about Chandler. I mean, even going into this thing, Chandler's like, look at the guys that I fought. I mean, I fought all the baddest dudes in the division. And the lightweight division is nasty. The lightweight division is like the old light heavyweight division in the UFC.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely.
What makes this story even more remarkable is that Ilia Topuria didn't want the fight stopped. According to Dana White, he wanted to keep going despite the severe damage he had already taken. Even with swelling, vision issues, and exhaustion, he continued competing at a high level. Dana even suggested Topuria may have won one of those later rounds. That's why many people reject the idea that he quit. The evidence shows the opposite. He was determined to continue, and ultimately his corner stepped in to make the difficult decision that he wouldn't make for himself.
But the guy is he has zero quit in him. It doesn't exist. Like, if you're looking for quit, you go into a room, it's empty. The quit room has no one in it. There's nothing in there. He's not going to quit. He can lose because he's a human, but he's not going to quit. And he's also been into the deep trenches before. The deep trenches of these 5-round, chaotic, insane battles. And oddly, he thrives in those kind of battles. He's a guy. He's described as the most violent man in the most violent sport.
Joe Rogan believes quitting isn't part of Ilia Topuria's character. Even after taking heavy damage, he kept pushing forward and looking for ways to win. That's the mentality that made him a champion. But against Justin Gaethje, that same mindset came at a cost. Gaethje thrives in chaotic wars, and once Topuria was pulled into that kind of fight, every exchange became more dangerous than the last.
Like Ilia's body, deal with his weight and don't get injured. I cannot give him advantage. If I give him advantage, yeah, it's gonna be easy work for him. So no, I want to put him pressure, give him hard work. Morten stay with him physically, which I was, but I cannot tell you which was the most competitive part, because with him everything is competitive. I cannot choose like striking, wrestling, grappling, because everywhere it's like it's crazy.
Videos was the video that went viral was you showing Ilia the way that he was going to finish Max Holloway. Do you have any sort of like breakdown or things that you saw with Justin Gaethje as well? Obviously, you can't give too much away, but over time, is there going to be another video if the knockout happens this weekend where you're showing Ilia exactly?
I don't know how it works with another brothers, but like I say, me and him, we are not just brothers, we are good friends. So it's very important to have, because sometimes for somebody, brother is something, family, and just, okay, when we sit on the table in the family, we speak about it. No, we are not that type of brothers. We are brothers, but at the same time, we are best friends. And
throughout all of this, one person has remained aside from the very beginning, his brother Alexandre. But as Alexandre himself explained, their relationship goes far beyond being brothers. They're best friends, training partners, and have shared every step of this journey together. That makes a loss like this even more difficult. Behind every champion is a team that experiences the victories, sacrifices, and setbacks together. When Topuria was winning titles, Alexandre was there. And now, during one of the toughest moments of his career, he's still there, helping him recover, process the defeat, and prepare for the road ahead. Because no fighter comes back from a night like this alone.
Physically and mentally. And the mental part's going to take probably longer than the flesh to heal and to get right. And I want to say this. There's things that have to happen for an upset like this. And things went right when he made a mistake going to the floor, but still taking on the way from Gaethje. But what also went right was what the doctor, when he heard it, he only had one way to react. I got to stop this. That it seemed like Topuria said he couldn't see. And when you say that, you're saying stop the fight, basically. Because you know what a competent doctor, responsible doctor is going to do. He's going to look out for you. He's going to stop. So it looked like that's what was happening. And then all of a sudden, first of all, it was pretty obvious they didn't want the fight stopped. They didn't want it. I mean, they could. I'm not saying they were risking his life. I'm not saying that. But they didn't want the fight stopped. I don't think any of us did, to be quite frank. But you don't want a guy.
Teddy Atlas believes the biggest challenge for Topuria may not be physical. It may be mental. The injuries will heal, but recovering from a first career loss is a different battle. Atlas pointed to the emotional impact, the disappointment, and the small moments that changed everything. Because major upsets rarely happen for one reason alone. They're usually the result of game plans, adjustments, momentum shifts, and critical decisions under pressure. On this particular night, many of those factors worked in Justin Gaethje's favor, leading to a career-defining victory and a difficult setback for Topuria.
But you would be misunderstanding. What ended that fight, what brought that fight to conclusion was the final double leg takedown attempt by Ilia. The final attempt where idiots call it a leg dive. When he went for the leg dive, the double leg takedown, and almost got it, and Gaethje's hips turned, and then Gaethje turned his hips back over, squared up, and stopped that effort. That is the moment when we're all done. There was mentally and physically, that was the final effort. Ilia continued He used that final leg dive. That was his last bit of energy, but also mentally. Also mentally. And that's something that's very hard for a doctor to see. It's very hard for anybody to see that hasn't done it. But there is a time in a cage fight when you will acquiesce to your opponent. You will concede. You've got me. And from that moment on, do you finish the fight? Do you stall it out? Can you time up? Can you protect yourself? Do you flick it? There's all sorts of options, but there is a time when you mentally are done.
Then came one of the most fascinating breakdowns of the fight. Because while most fans focused on the injuries, Chael Sonnen focused on something else entirely. The moment the fight was truly over, not physically, mentally. According to Sonnen, the turning point wasn't necessarily the swelling around Topuria's eyes. It wasn't one specific punch. It wasn't one specific knee. It was the final takedown attempt. That last effort, that last push. That final attempt to change the momentum of the fight. Because fighters know something that statistics can never fully explain. There comes a moment when your body is exhausted. Your options are disappearing. And you realize the fight is slipping away. Sometimes that realization happens long before the official stoppage, and according to Sonnen, that's exactly what happened here. Not because Topuria lacked courage. Not because he lacked heart, but because Justin Gaethje had forced him into territory he had never experienced before. And eventually, even the greatest fighters run out of answers.
Right?
So nasty.
Yeah, it's nasty. Ugh. Listen, Justin, I'm so glad you're not going to fight to the end of the year, like for whenever. Just enjoy that, because that was a fucking masterpiece.
Yes, sir.
It was beautiful to be there. I mean, I felt so
American.
So American.
Hey.
Yeah, so
I
cool.
felt so
It's so hard to
thankful.
represent this country because we're such a
Yes.
melting pot.
Yes.
And I think I have done it. I think I achieved that. And so I'm very, very proud of that.
Dude, you did it in spades. You did it 5 stars. It was fucking phenomenal. It was one of the greatest events that any sporting event has ever put on. I mean, maybe the greatest sporting event in the history of the world.
I said it before. This is going to be like some Miracle on Ice shit.
It was, man.
I know.
It really was.
I knew
It really
I had
was.
the opportunity to do something special.
You did it, and then here, come down.
Yeah, I wanted to
It
see my
was-
family.
It was
dad- your
incredible.
dad.
That was so cool.
So
Look
awesome.
how cool that is.
Yeah, so cool.
Look how cool that is. That is so amazing. That's so fucking amazing.
When everything was over, the interviews, the headlines, the medical updates, the debates, Joe Rogan summed up the entire event with one word masterpiece. Not because it was perfect, not because it was easy, but because it represented everything combat sports can be at their absolute best. Drama, risk, adversity, heart, and the possibility that anything can happen. Justin Gaethje walked into that cage as a massive underdog. Most people expected him to lose. Some expected him to get finished. Instead, he delivered a performance that will be remembered for years. A performance that changed the lightweight division overnight. But while Gaethje celebrated the greatest victory of his career, the story of Ilia Topuria was only beginning, because now comes the hardest chapter: recovery. Not just physically, not just medically, but mentally. Can he come back? Can he rebuild? Can he become champion again? Or will this night forever be remembered as the moment everything changed? Only time will answer that question. But one thing is certain: the UFC world will be watching every step of the journey. Justin Gaethje walked into UFC Freedom 250 as a massive underdog and left as the lightweight champion. But while Gaethje celebrated the biggest win of his career, the MMA world was left asking one question: what happens next for Ilia Topuria? After suffering devastating injuries and the first loss of his professional career, Topuria now faces the toughest challenge of all: coming back. Will he return stronger, or has this fight changed him forever? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more MMA stories.